All right then. All right then. Um, I was gonna make a video about this, but I decided not to do it. I decided to just do a live stream of what I feel, and a lot of y'all's criticism of Kevin Samuels. Now, I hate talking about Kevin Samuels. I really do. Talking about Kevin Samuels. See, and I'm gonna say this right now. And I know somebody gonna sit there and say, "Well, Big J, aren't you doing the same thing?" Yeah, but it's time for somebody to say it. If all your conversation is about Kevin Samuels, if all you make on videos is Kevin Samuels said this and Kevin Samuels said that, a lot of y'all have no originality. It shows black YouTube, black social media lacks originality, and also shows that a lot of y'all lack the talent and lack the fortitude to do something else other than gender warring. And let me also say this too, because we had to put this in the caveat. I am not a fan of Kevin Samuels, and do have problems with Kevin Samuels. But what I do have a problem with, having said that, because I don't want nobody to sit there and say I'm here to defend Kevin Samuels. This is not the point. The point is I'm calling it down the middle. I'm not here to defend Kevin Samuels, but the problem is a lot of y'all who are critics of Kevin Samuels are also hypocrites. Remember the movie, the movie that was called "Woman Out There, Out There Loose"? Remember that movie? It was based upon a book. Now, if you watch the movie "Woman Art Thou Loose," the movie had it's one of them black movies I can't stand. You know, there are a lot of black movies or what I would call hood movies. I can't stand that shit. I can't stand those so-called inner city black movies, right? Ones you see on BET all the goddamn time, or one you see on TV1 all the time. I hate that shit. But anyway, in that movie, Woman Art Thou Loose has a woman who was raised in I want to say a single parent house, and the mother um sacrificed the attention of her daughter for that man, for the abusive stepfather. And the abusive stepfather has been molesting and raping and what and use your imaginations against his daughter, and his daughter becomes a young woman, and she going to jail, she going to prison, she's getting arrested, getting involved in self-destructive activities. And then one scene in the movie, I think there's towards the end of the movie, where she took a gun. She went up to T.D. Jakes' church while he's having service, and the stepfather, was trying to turn his life around, right? And he kind of went up there to repent all of his sins, and the daughter came in there with a gun and gunned him down as he was trying to go into the altar call and repent to his sins. But anyway, my issue is, for some of you women who are criticizing Kevin Samuels, you also need to criticize T.D. Jakes too. You also need to criticize that black church, that black pastor. Hell, I'm going to sit there and say this right now. It's not only a black issue now. It has never been a black issue. This has been a Christian church thing too, especially in the inner city. You have a lot of pastors who's selling women, no matter what color she is, this bag of goods called the Boab story. A lot of women who are single, who go to the church trying to pray for deliverance, and you got a lot of these black pastors, these black preachers, and and some of you white folk, some of you white pastors too, in white churches too. I'm not exclusively talking about just the black church. What I do see is the church is playing one side against the other. Now, in Woman Art Thou Loose, if you watch the movie, the onus is put on the daughter who shot her stepfather on that church altar, right? But they never put the credence on the men who encouraged her to go to that church. It never put the onus on the pastor. It never put the onus on the church leadership in curtailing the issues. That we see every day. A lot of these women who are criticizing Kevin Samuels they should be the same ones that criticize Steve Harvey. See, I want y'all to understand there is a pattern, and nobody is not picking up on the pattern. What does that black pastor does? He criticized the Negroes who have their pants hanging down off their ass in the community, or like what my homeboy Santos Clutch would say, the community. Steve Harvey does that the same thing. He does that baby boomer bullshit talk to younger black men. And he gives a pat on the head from the community, right? While the women are being insulted or seemingly insulted, because a lot of these women have this unrealistic idea of what men are, this unrealistic idea, this Disney worldview of what is deemed a relationship, what is marriage. They have a lot of women that I have noticed during the last 20 years, the last 20 years of life. I understand that a lot of you women are actually unrealistic when it comes to relationships, because a lot of y'all has been fed a lot of malarkey from these black pastors, these black churches, and the media, just like Walt Disney. Kevin Samuels is just like those black pastors, though. Big J, what are you talking about? Well, let me tell you what I'm talking about. Here's what I'm talking about. A lot of these men, they're talking shit about you women. Oh yes, they are. But it's the men that they're competing against. It's not you women. See, some of you women have this idea that because though he's telling you the quote unquote truth and he's giving y'all the act of God about y'all, the issue is he's actually competing against other men. Same with like that black pastor though. That black pastor, if you go to any city church, what surrounds that church? And you know what? I'm being unfair. I'm being a little bit unfair. If you go to a lot of inner city churches, right? Churches with with shiny white architecture, the masonry, is shiny, clean, and all that, and every building surrounding it is decrepit. While the men who lives in that said community is below the poverty level, while the women are more educated and having given some existence. That's the same what Kevin Samuels does, right? That's the same what Kevin Samuels does. The same, asking the guy what is, competing against younger black men. Same way, like he asked this dude who was in his 20s, how big is your member? How big is your male sex organ member? Right? Trying to compete himself against younger men. See, Kevin Samuels, just like that black pastor, right? He is competing against younger black men, not against women. You got that entirely wrong. That's why that one time, though, a couple of years ago, I think though a year and a half ago, I asked Kevin Samuels, when he's talking about he don't want no 18-year-old girl. No, he want an 18-year-old girl to get married to. But he said, though, he does not want a guy over the age of 40 to get with his daughter. When he made that statement, I called him out on that. And this happened back around September, October 2019. I'm sure it was October 2019 at the time, right? I think this happened on the Renaissance Woman's channel. In all that talking points, this wanting to, this idea of wanting to advance hypergamy. Hypergamy. A lot of men commit suicide behind hypergamy. A lot of men risk their lives behind hypergamy. A lot of men went to jail behind hypergamy. This idea of hypergamy, and the argument that younger men have is that hypergamy, you can't have a hypergamy in an equal society. You cannot have a society that promotes equality, that promotes equity. You can't have equality and equity and having hypergamy at the same time. Is making things a little bit harder to convince men, a lot of men, I should say, a lot of men to jump that broom. Because that man has the idea of what love is, but her idea of love is different than his. If your partner's idea of love and idea of love is different, then you're going to go to a path of self-destruction. It's going to be destruction on both for the both of you. And a lot of men are realizing that. That stupid, I ain't saying stupid, but that Boab story that been taught every Friday, every Saturday, every Sunday, every Wednesday night. And then at the same time, she will talk about, oh, I'm equally yoked. You always hear that Medea's plays, Tyler Perry's plays, talking about some fucking female always talking about, I want to be equally yoked. Get out of here with that equally yoked shit when you want to be hypergamous. You can't have it both ways. See, I believe in mathematics. I believe in mathematical equations here. But that's besides the point. That's besides what, I kind of digress, but that needs to be talked about though. You know. And yes, though. And because I just said what I said, does that mean I support the manosphere? Doesn't mean do I support MGTOW. I'm giving you the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying. I'm giving y'all the reason why, ladies, why MGTOW exists. What I just said about that wanting equality and then won't goddamn hypergamy. I'm giving y'all a reason why the PUA community exists, why Red Pill exists. I'm neither Red Pill or MGTOW, but I've been a part of them years. If you ask me 10 years ago, I was repping MGTOW 10 years ago. I was repping the MRA 10 years ago. I used to rep Red Pill shit. But the thing is, I grew up. I grew out of it because I know, though, that's not a successful reason or successful conclusion to reason things out for society. It's not a reasonable outcome for society, because if you go that other route, and I know I'm going to have to digress here for a minute. I have to digress here. The thing is, if you go all hard on the Red Pill shit, you're going to produce the outcome. You're going to produce an outcome where you get 4 or 5 more Cynthia G's of the world, not less. That's why, though, I seek an equal balance. That's why I desire balance, actual honest balance, not the balance that Steve Harvey won't, not the balance that these so-called fake ass black pastors won't, not these psychologists like your Dr. Fields, the Dr. Fields of the world, that fake ass balance Dr. Field will be preaching. No, I'm talking about honest balance. Not the Oprah bullshit, not the Pseudo Sansant bullshit. Equal, honest balance. That's what I strive for. That's what I strive for. So y'all can we can shut up and stop accusing me of Big J, you need to make up your mind. Are you MGTOW or are you this or are you that? You're a male feminist. Last week I was called a male feminist by AJ. It's Seen Red. AJ Seen Red called me male feminist. You don't know what a feminist is, Negro. Reg the bad guy with his stupid ass talking about male feminist. You don't know what a feminist is. Men cannot be a feminist. Get over that. In order for me to be a feminist, and let's say, though, Big J was a feminist, right? Let's say I'm a feminist, then how come I still hold the MRA beliefs? How come, though, I still rep with the MRAs? The MRAs use enemies with the feminist crowd. What the hell are you talking about? And that's for real. But back to that movie and back to that book, Woman, Art Thou Loose? Every argument that TD Jakes make. Oh, and let me say this right now. I forgot to do a video. I wish I'd done this in a video format, because I would show you a clip of what happened in TD Jakes. You know what? Let me look that up, because I did a video on this years ago of what happened to this woman who was in TD Jakes' church and what happened to her. She was assaulted in that church. Man, I'm gonna find that video for a minute. Y'all just got to bear with me for a minute. Bear with me for a couple minutes. I'll go ahead and find it. You know, that's another thing though that needs to be talked about. Y'all want to sit there, and I see some of you women want to post up TD Jakes and these black pastors saying X, Y, and Z and all that shit. But wait a minute. He's saying the same thing about you as the same way Kevin Samuels talk about y'all. But what's the difference? What's the difference? Oh, yes. Last year, March 2018, when I did this video, I'm going to put that link in the chat room. I'm going to do the link of that in the chat room. This woman, but she goes by the name of Audrey Stevens. And she was assaulted at the Potter House, I think it's 4th Ward, Texas, if I'm not mistaken. It's at 4th Ward, Texas, and TD Jakes was the owner of that. So let me put that in the chat room. So my thing is, and yes, I see Brown Bird in the chat room. What's going on, Brown Bird? Anyway, let me talk about this for a minute. Now, I'll put the link in the chat room of a video that I did back in 2018. This woman goes by the name of Audrey Stevenson. She was assaulted at the TD Jakes Potter House. Yeah, let me film it. Let me play it right now for you. Now, the video is being played right now. I don't know if you can hear the audio, but the video is 11 minutes and 20 seconds.
We're in the house of the Lord. I know. That's my point. Ma'am, let's calm down. And I did nothing wrong. Absolutely. Because you don't go to Lady G when someone is giving you call up under production. And Luis did not sit me down. Today he said to me, he set me down last Sunday. I said, okay, we're gonna have a meeting. We're gonna call Pastor. We're gonna get up. Ma'am. Excuse me, this is what I want to do because I don't serve the Lord under restriction. Because you have to understand, this is spiritual. This is spiritual. This is not spiritual. This is not spiritual. This is not spiritual. No, this is not spiritual. We're in the house of the Lord. And aren't you an elder? And your point is what? Right now I'm the church. Ma'am. But hold on, let me be clear. Let me be clear because I'm the church. You're getting frustrated. You know why I'm getting frustrated? Because I don't do lies. I don't do lies. Who lied? You did. What did I lie about? Luis told me. No, I didn't. Luis just told. So what did Luis just say? What's the conversation me and Luis had? I don't know. No, he didn't. So grab Luis. Grab Luis. I don't have to grab Luis. Because Luis did not sit me down. You set me down. That's what he said. That's what he said, okay, ma'am. Let me tell you something. So for God. Okay, so let's just say I did. You told Luis that, yes. If I set it down, then it's shut down. So no, I went to First Lady and we're having a meeting. No, okay. No, so we're not. Thank you. No, we're not. So First Lady lied to me. Okay, she said you were going to be a part of the meeting because you're the one that said this and started this. Because yes, ma'am. You asked Luis to sit me down. Luis never had a problem with me, and you've been blackballing me for months. So let's be real, ma'am. And you're not being. You told me to shut up. I'm being spiritual. I'm being spiritual right now because you're an elder. At the end of the day, you need to give me spiritual guidance. And guess what? I'm trying to give it to you, but this. No, you're not, man. You're yelling at me and you're having an attitude. You know why I have an attitude? Because I don't do lies. I'm not a liar. I'm not a liar. What did Luis say? He just said to Pastor Winfield. You told him Pastor Winfield. No, I told him I called First Lady and she said, why did I do that? Because I have the opportunity. I have the right to. I have the right to call anybody. Because you are. As an elder of the church, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself, and you should, and everybody, you should be ashamed of yourself. No, please don't do that. Because if this is how this church operates, if this is how, Brandon, you're one-sided. If this is how this,
No, you're talking to me. Let me
you
explain
gonna
something.
put your hands
I'm
on
gonna put
me?
my hands on you. Let me explain something to you.
Brandon, you
No,
putting your hands
Let
on
me
me?
explain. No, because
Brandon,
that's
you
what I'm saying.
putting your hands on me? I'm trying to leave.
No,
I'm not pushing you.
No,
I'm trying to leave, Brandon. I'm trying to leave. Let me leave. Let me leave. Brandon, let me leave.
We're gonna get this in the budget.
Let me leave. Brandon, let me leave. Get off of me. Brandon, what? Are you freaking kidding me? Brandon, are you kidding me? Brandon, stop. Brandon, stop. Stop. I didn't do it. Stop. Stop. I didn't do anything. Brandon, I didn't do anything. Stop. 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 Let me go. Let me go. Let me go. Let me go. I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. Why are you doing this to me? Brandon, I didn't. Brandon, I didn't do anything. Can you guys just look? Can you get your knees off my back? Sir, I've broken no law. I just want to leave. Please.
What you have to understand.
We're done.
We're not
We're done. My membership is over. This church is over. Can I leave, ma'am? Can I leave? That's my right. You can't detain me.
Hold on. You are being detained right now. Hold on. Just sit
I
tight.
didn't break a law.
I don't know.
But we are investigating, and the quicker
What did I
we
do?
get quiet, the quicker we can investigate.
She's been told by her supervisor. She's a volunteer.
Okay.
She can't be backstage. She can't serve.
Okay.
She was on the stage a while ago serving. I want to see this one because I need to.
This is illegal. We're done.
We're gonna-
No, I'm not going outside with these cuffs on me like I broke the law.
I'm not.
Going to the bank.
No. Uncuff me right here. This is illegal. Uncuff me right here. Got me messed up.
Do you have any more property other than your?
You
have any more property
you
other
gonna
than
get
your?
yours.
You have any property other than your property?
Don't worry about my property. Don't worry about my property.
Well, you have to get it.
Give me my phone.
You have to. Now to get it, you have to. You can't go back.
Yeah, I'm on 10.
Hold on.
You on 10? What's
Yeah, I'm on 10. I'm on 10 with all of y'all. Y'all got me messed up.
Can somebody
Hurry
go back
up.
to the
I need to put this shit on me anyway.
We're gonna go. Sweetheart, man, let's go right here.
Give me my purse. Go get my purse. Brandon, you put your hands on me.
Stand right there. Stand right there.
You
Stand
pushing me
right there.
again. Go get my purse.
Stand
Go
right
get my purse.
I'm gonna tell you.
It's backstage. Go get my purse before I lose it. Go get my purse. I'm you. You're an elder, and you're going straight to hell. You're going to hell on a one-way trip. On a one-way trip. I'm from Detroit. You're from Charlotte. What's up?
Let's not do that.
I'm backstage. What's that? Where is it? Go put it on the curb. Y'all going straight to hell.
All right then. That's the video. I had to skip a couple minutes of that. So the video is in the chat room. The link to that is in the chat room here. But T.D. Jakes tried to cover that up. But the thing is, you don't see a lot of you women. I don't see greeno.com.org. I don't see, I don't see Roland Martin. I don't see your black newspapers, your black social media advocates. I don't see the pro-black community. I don't see the simps. I don't see y'all calling that out. When T.D. Jakes did try to cover up this assault on this woman, on this lady here. But y'all have all that energy for Kevin Samuels. I don't see y'all calling T.D. Jakes gay or make those homosexual, homophobic remarks about T.D. Jakes. I don't see, and I ain't just talking about T.D. Jakes. I'm talking about a lot of these black pastors here. a lot of these pastors in the inner city. I don't see y'all sitting there calling them out when they say the same things that Kevin Samuels be saying. But when it comes to this TD Jakes issue, and no, I'm not blaming TD Jakes for this. Let me be fair. I'm going to be fair with this. I'm not blaming TD Jakes for what he did to this woman because he wasn't there when this happened. The problem is he tried to sweep this under the rug, though. That's the thing. That's the problem on that end. He tried to sweep that under the rug, or wanted to sweep that under the rug. But the problem is, a lot of y'all who get on Twitter, I see some of y'all on Facebook. I see y'all on the YouTube, on the YouTube streets talking about Kevin Samuels is gay and he's this and he's that and he's the third and he's abusing women, you know, with that slap sound. But y'all sit there and do that, but then y'all quote TD Jakes at the middle of y'all criticism of Kevin Samuels. Some of y'all quote these black pastors. At the same time, you're quoting TD while y'all bashing Kevin Samuels. When these black pastors are saying the same damn thing about you. When you still have these same black pastors that's rather destroying your own men, not helping out your own black men. Some of you women are wonder why y'all's dating market is dumb. I'm gonna say this right now. Let's be honest here. A lot of y'all's dating market is less educated than you are. I've been saying this for a long time. If black men really want to, the reason why you having this gender war, the gender war issue is mostly about an educational gap. There's an education gap between men and women, and men don't want to admit that shit. They don't want to admit it, but it's the truth though. Look at the verbiage of what the women are saying, and look at the verbiage between what the men are saying. If you don't sit there and see the lack of communication skills, but again, that black church, that inner city church, is not equipping these young men on how to conflict resolution. And in addition to lacking the skills to successfully resolve their problems without conflict, they're not teaching the men in that community on how to adapt to pressure, and also teaching men in that in so much, and not I'm trying to find a better word for this. What's the better word for this? Well, at the same time, they're devaluing the men of the said community, while at the same time wishing these men would act right. So, and no, let me repeat what I said about 30 minutes ago. What I said 34 minutes ago, I said, look, this video is not pro Kevin Samuels. This is not a pro Kevin Samuels video. The problem is I'm calling out y'all's hypocrisy of a lot of y'all who are criticizing Kevin Samuels, but will not say a damn thing to those black pastors in these inner city churches who is sitting up there trashing your men and downgrading their men and won't help their men out. Like, share, and subscribe. Big J out.